name is Peter Thompson. You are listening to episode 71 of the podcast. I'm here with my three co-hosts, Lambros, Costa Levoyanis, and Ari Bulubasis. Plus, we've got a few other contributors on the way. It's been a crazy, crazy week here at the Gate 7 International Podcast. We have some really excited stuff to get rolled out for you. And I'm just going to let Lambro get into it because he's really been in charge with this and he's done an amazing job. We're really excited.
Yeah, guys. So what's up? I hope everyone watching live is doing well. Thank you guys for coming out to the event. And we've gotten so much support and just love from the community. We love interacting with you guys. And, you know, on a Thursday night with no Olympiakos games, with nothing, it's just brilliant that you guys are all here to talk with us. So let's just get it out of the way, guys. So we were talking about what was the next big step for Gate 7 International, and I kind of had this idea of bringing together a team. This is Gate 7 International after all, and we have fans from every corner of the world, but we can't have 20 hosts of the Gate 7 International podcast. But what we can do is we can assemble a team of writers and bloggers to bring you guys stories of the team you love every week, every day. And that's what we've done, guys. I kind of had this vision and these guys let me run with it. And I built this website. You guys will see it. And it's got our podcast information. It is gate7, like the number, intl.com. That is our new website, everyone. And we have a few blogs up there. I have my first blog up there. We have a blog in French out there. Guys, there are French-speaking Olympiakos fans, and we're going to keep bringing it. There's going to be content in English, French, and Greek, of course. Any language of people who love Olympiakos are welcome on our blog. And we've really put together this fantastic blogging team. These guys up here, along with me, will put out some content as well. But we really have put together a fantastic team, and they're going to lead us through this. And I guess that's all from my end. I'm super excited for you guys to check out some of these articles we've been writing, some of this content we've been getting into. It's really exciting. And you guys will have more Olympiakos content for you. And that's what we're trying to do, really.
Well, I think a good thing to do right now is we're going to announce the team. And we have a few of the members from the team on and some other folks you'll be hearing from on our social media platforms sort of with their initiative. But the first person that we have to announce is pretty much the point man is Theo Bouras. So we're going to get Theo on the stream here. Theo, we want to just thank you so much, and we'll get into the initiative a bit more later. But just a few quick words on what your background is with the team and what you hope to do with this project.
Well, first off, thank you guys for having me on and letting me run with this thing. And I think we're all going to have a really, really good time. You know, Olympiakos is a way of life for all of us. It's a day-to-day thing. You sleep it, you breathe it. It's just going to be our way, me and the entire team, to be able to show some of the fans some of that, and a lot of the supporters to get even more content for Olympiakos. And we're really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun project, and a project that ultimately is going to be something different. Labro mentioned it earlier. Greek, English, French from France. I mean, we speak a little bit of French here in Montreal, Quebec as well. But there's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. And I just think it's going to be a fun project altogether.
Well, Theo, there's, you were one of the first people that came to our mind in terms of people with the experience and writing and love and passion for this team. And so we're so incredibly happy to have you as a part of this. Of course, as you know, Theo, having worked with NOVAsports in the past, one of our favorite outlets for Greek football news in English. And we hope to bring the expertise that Theo has gained as a writer. And we hope to bring that to the Gate 7 International blog and make that, help us make that as good as possible. We do have a couple of our other contributors who I think are along to say a couple quick words. The first person I'll have jump on is a familiar face, and that is Stephen Kountourou. Stephen, of course, a blogger for LS Footy. And LS Footy fans, don't worry, he's not going anywhere. He's just going to be working double time, writing some stuff for us and writing some stuff for them. He's also on the LS Footy podcast. If you listen to that, I recommend. If you don't, I recommend listening to it. If you don't, I should say, definitely. It's a good podcast. But Stephen, yeah, I mean, in very brief form, let the fans know what you would like to accomplish and what you would like to write about.
Well, firstly, guys, thank you so much for inviting me onto this amazing journey you guys are forming. When Lambros came to me about it, I almost couldn't refuse, because it's such an amazing opportunity to take my writing and, obviously I've had an amazing time with LS Football, and like you said, I'm going to be continuing with them, like doing content with them, but just to specialize in talking about Olympiakos, a team that, I love so much. They're the team I've supported for nearly 10 years. And ultimately, I just want to get that content out there, because there isn't enough content out there, even with you guys and with us at LS Football as well. Like, with us here now, there isn't enough content in English for Olympiakos or Greek football. And that's what the ultimate goal is. It's always been that goal for me. And I want to continue that with you guys, getting it out there to the diaspora who speak English and may not, speak Greek, and to get the information out there for the team that they love. And I want to do that with you guys.
Well, we really love that sentiment, Stephen. It's really the reason that we created the podcast in the first place. And as you said, there's still not enough of that content. So keep an eye out for Stephen Kountourou and some of his pieces. He's written some great stuff for LS Footy as well. So feel free to check out his existing work over there, and his stuff will be popping up on our website in no time. Stephen, thank you so much. We're going to hop on over to our next contributor, another good friend of ours. He's not necessarily an Olympiakos super fan, although he's wearing the kit today. That's Vimo George. Vimo is going to be covering mostly the Greek national team, something he's very much an expert on. Vimo's been watching the Greek national team since he was a little kid. Vimo, thanks so much for agreeing to contribute to our website and our blog. What do you hope to bring to the team?
Yeah, like you said, it's really exciting coming on, and like this whole project, like as soon as Adi talked to me about it, I was more than happy to contribute any way I could, especially seeing how the podcast has grown and seeing how all of you have grown. It's just, I'm beyond excited to contribute. And yeah, like you said, I'm not going to be able to give anything on Olympiakos that you guys won't have already covered or done a much better job with. But unfortunately, while some of you guys I know get fed up with the Ethniki, I can't get enough of it. So that's where my focus is going to be. I'm hoping I can write some stuff on where we're at now, where we've been, where we should be going as a club, as a team, and going all the way up to EPO in general. So yeah, just excited to contribute in any way.
Fantastic. So you see there across the bottom of the screen, we actually have the names of all the bloggers that have joined. Not all were able to join for this live today. It's great to have Theo, Vimo, and Stephen with us. A couple more have sent in some video introductions, and we're just going to play those real quickly for you so that you can get familiar with them. First one is Martial from Olympiakos France.
Hello guys, it's Martial from the Twitter account Olympiakos France. As you may notice with my accent, I'm a French guy who loves a lot Olympiakos. I'm very glad to be part of this project because I always wanted to share my views about Olympiakos with other Olympiakos supporters, and it's hard to find it here in France. So I'm pleased to have found a new family with Olympiakos fan. So I will be posting articles in French about Olympiakos, Olympiakos players, stories, and anything related to Olympiakos in order to share my opinions. And I hope it will bring more fans from France. And I can't wait to see you on the blog.
So that's a quick introduction to Martial, guys. Martial is a good friend of the podcast. He's another one of those contributors that's contributing to making Gate 7 International truly international. It's really, really fantastic to have him on board with us. Lambros, I think you're itching to add to something here.
No, I'm super excited to have to Martial on. He has so many great stories, and I also, as people know, living in Geneva, I'm practicing my French, so I'm going to be practicing my French with Martial's articles and all of his updates about Olympiakos in French. I'm really excited to have him on, and he we have to say he has his first article live, which is a loan report of every single player Olympiakos has sent on loan. It is, of course, in French, but it's very easy to translate if people are looking to do that as well, non-French speakers, of course. But yeah, I'm excited to have him on, and just it's going to be fantastic. You know, we're really putting the international into the name, and that's what we've really wanted from the start. You know.
Super. We've got one more video entry from one of our contributors. This is an anonymous contributor. He's going to be going by the name Δεν Γιοθετώ. In Greek, that's roughly translated as, well, I'm not going to ruin it for you. I'm just going to play the damn video and you can find out for yourselves.
Hello, Olympiakos fans around the world. I'm honored to be part of this nice group of diehard fans, and together we're going to be covering the behind-the-scenes aspect of Greek football. Our column would be called Δεν Γιοθετώ, after the expression from the legendary Ethniki show, which roughly translates to "Don't shoot the messenger." We're going to leave formations, tactics, expected goals, and match analysis to the experts, and we'll try to recreate the atmosphere of Red Cafe before an Olympiakos game, where you hang out with your buddies, with your frappe in hand, and talk all sorts of football gossip with no guilt whatsoever.
And there you have it. Now, anybody knows that people dealing with the behind the scenes of Greek football, you know, looking at what the president of this team is doing and all some of the shady business in Greek football, maybe better to keep your name anonymous. So I have the respect for that contributor in this regard. That's all we have for now, but do keep an eye on the website. It's live, and all those bloggers will have their biogs up in the coming days. Watch this space, guys.
And don't forget, the bios for everybody will be live. So you got some teasers for everyone here. You'll be able to find out a little bit more about not just the bloggers you saw, but then as the podcast team. There's some little tidbits of that, of some things we haven't yet discussed. So you can learn a little bit more about us. Now, one other thing we have before we move on, the Olympiakos DC Academy, guys, has started their UPSL season, United Premier Soccer League. This is huge. We now have a chance to actually watch ourselves the future of Olympiakos, the future players that are here in the United States. So we will be broadcasting on all of our social media every time there's a game. We'll give you about a day's heads up. All of the games will be live streamed. The team just played a game this past weekend. They drew 1-1. They have a game coming up this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We will be tweeting out, posting on Facebook and Instagram as well, the link that you can watch the live stream and you can watch the future. The team is playing Germantown City FC. Huge game. Watch it. Support the boys. Merch is there as well. Support our team. Support the kids. Support the future of Olympiakos.
I wish this was around when Lambros and I were still in school in Maryland, could hop in an Uber, catch some of the games. But I mean, it's going to be great to watch them on live stream as well. Feel free to support Olympiakos DC Academy. It's a great initiative, and we hope for the best from them. With some other podcast news, if you've been following us on social media at Gate7INTL, you'll know that next week we will be releasing our special guest interview with Olympiakos player Guillaume Gillet. Hope I pronounced that right. Costa, feel free to correct me. But Gillet, of course, played for Olympiakos. He's also played for Belgium. He's had a very storied and successful career and is still playing to this day at 36 or 37 years old, which is a hallmark of success for any footballer. He's going to have a lot of really fun stories to tell. Congratulations to Michael Vicini for guessing him correctly. And we're going to be allowing for additional questions for Guillaume. You can still ask questions to us at Gate7INTL, and we're very excited for that interview. And as you know, we never stop. And because of that, we can't announce anything official yet, but we have more coming. Let's just say that. There are more guests that are going to be on the way. There are 2 right now that we are in the works of securing down for time, and those will be coming after the GA interview. So stay tuned, folks, and we're going to have some really, really exciting stuff for you. Another note for the game this weekend, of course, we play Panathinaikos. a couple things that I'm just going to say a hint. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe the other boys want to say something else, but turn on NOVAsports, guys, during the game. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe, just sometime during the game, actually. That's all I'll say. Maybe Costa or Lambro, you want to add something else, but I'll leave it at that, personally.
Go for it, Labrador.
Okay, shall I go for it? Well, guys, I don't know. Peter put it well. We'll drop a link maybe to NOVAsports, and you'll see what happens on NOVAsports with the Gate 7 International. It could be a lot of fun. I think there could be a bit of banter on NOVAsports this weekend on Sunday, especially with us playing Panathinaikos. I will leave it for you guys to watch what goes down. I think it could be very funny anyway.
One thing that I will say for sure is we'll have a podcast coming out the following day. And if the stars align for us, we could win the league on Sunday. So could be a very fun time. The last announcement before we start getting into some news and some things is, of course, the ad read. We would always like to say thank you to our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been helping Greeks ship to and from the motherland during COVID-19. Shipments to Greece are going out from Baltimore, Maryland every month. Fill any large U-Haul box, 18 by 18 by 24. Send it to our friends in Baltimore, and it will be shipped to the port of Piraeus for only $50 US. Better yet, fill any large wardrobe box and send it for $100. Give them a call at 410-675-4696 or send an email to sales@piraeusintl.com. A couple very quick news points, and then Adi has a deep dive. We have Postgame, and then we'll talk more to Theo about the Gate 7 International blog initiative. Let's get to the news first. So a couple things relating to Ike, and the first one I want to bring up relates back to a certain game between Ike and Pauk a couple years ago, in which a certain Russian man made his way onto the pitch with a certain let's just say firearm in his hand. Now the famous pistol derby of 2018. Vranjes, legendary Ike player, great player, hopefully comes back to Ike soon. He has spoken out. He said the other day that he was approached by a Serbian agent with regards to match fixing prior to the game. Very interesting stuff. What do you guys have to say about this? This is an interesting claim. Of course, it's just a claim, but what do we think?
Oh man, who gives? I guess this is just run of the mill, and then I don't really want to say anything. I think it speaks for itself, like Pauk match fixing, owner coming on the field. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, what else do we have to say? Like,
I think the whole it was a couple of things, wasn't it? I mean, there was the Vranjes comments about being approached by somebody dodgy in Serbia to do the match fixing, but before that news came out, there was the news coming out of Greece that Melisanidis and Aek were being investigated for influencing the elections ahead of the presidential elections for the Greek Football Federation, and that they could be docked 10 points because now if you interfere with elections, or God forbid you buy another club and use them to advance your interests, you don't get relegated anymore. You only get docked 10 points. Anyway, there was that, and then there was the news the next day about the Ike Bout game, the season that Ike won the league. So, I mean, I'm also going to say that I'm not really surprised, and I'm not afraid to say that, Melisanidis is Melisanidis. I don't need to say who Melisanidis is, and I don't want to talk about him to people that don't know who he is. If you're listening from Greece, you know who Melisanidis is. You know what Melisanidis does, and it's no surprise to me that he's implicated in these sorts of things. I'm sorry to Ajax fans, the real Ike fans, but yeah, it wasn't really a surprise to me.
Thing is, as well, if I can jump in real quick, like, things are not so good at Ike right now. Like, Can we say that? Like Greg came on.
Yeah.
The scenes after the game last weekend.
Ridiculous.
It was ridiculous with the fans coming on the pitch. And the thing was, I read he was mad that the fans did it, but he was mad not because they did it. He was mad that they didn't do it in the locker room. He was mad that like the whole world saw that bullshit happen. So, and then he went to them in the hotel and was telling them, "You're all a disgrace. You're all a blah 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 blah." So I don't know. Things are not good at Ike.
There's no place for that. It's just like, I mean, and let's be honest, it's not something that just happens at Ike. It happens quite regularly in Greek football. It's not like it hasn't happened with us before. It's just like, for me, the fans, they belong in the stands. If the fans want to have a chat with the players, then, you know, the captain of the team can go and meet them unofficially. It doesn't need to happen publicly. It just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
But also, can we say there's no fans in the stadium, so like they don't really have a venue to kind of vent and boo, so they like have to do it this way? Is that fair?
They could have done what Giannina did and built the stadium such that people can watch from like the nearby rooftops, you know. Owaka just like too big, too massive.
And the acoustics in Giannina too. You can hear everybody's voice on those.
It was beautiful. It was like a packed crowd. Well, Adi, I think you've got a deep dive for us, and
I do.
You know, I'm just gonna let her rip with the Y Scout here. Younes Belhanda is the player in question. Links with Olympiakos. He's a bit of a controversial one, Adi. So I'll just let you get into the numbers, the cold hard facts.
Absolutely. Yes, every time we get linked with these players and stuff seems like it's serious, everyone wants a deep dive. They want to know, is this player worth it? Is he not worth it? So we checked in on him, watched a lot of film. And Belhanda for Galatasaray played primarily as a number 8. He played primarily as a center mid, a deeper lying center mid for Galatasaray. I know there was a lot of concern with everybody that, oh, this is another 10. What's going to happen to Fortounis? No. If we're bringing this guy in, the consideration is as a deeper center mid that also has that versatility to play. Just some things, just some notes about what I liked from what I saw, not yet getting into the data. I love when this guy takes shots, he picks corners. Now, why am I bringing this up? I am bringing this up because of what we saw from Giannina, a bunch of shots with either no power or directly at the keeper. This guy picks corners with every shot, stretches the keeper on those shots. Love it. Love to see it. He can take set pieces too, and he's not half bad at it. So it's just another person that has that skill that can do that job for us on a set piece. In terms of volume, we're always concerned about center mids that we bring in because our center mids have a lot of touches. They're heavily involved. They are an engine for our game going forward. And for Galatasaray, he was averaging just over 50 touches a game. So he's comfortable with the volume. He's comfortable being an outlet and an engine that we can play through. So one other thing I loved, this guy has incredible skill on the ball. I mean, he is extremely technical. When you hear coaches or some people say about players that the ball is just another appendage, it's like that. Some of the things I watched him do just reminded me of Fortounis, especially in his prime. The way the ball would come to him, and whether he had the ball or not, whether he was receiving the ball or he was on the dribble, it was just another opportunity to beat the guy. The ball would come to him. He would just flick it over a defender's leg, flick it anywhere he wanted, so close to him, chesting the ball, and didn't matter what type of ball. It could have been a laser coming to him by his teammate, a ball coming like a Hail Mary from the goalkeeper. Precision, always right around him. Center of gravity, amazing. And just his overall control, fantastic. In terms of his passing accuracy as well, anything within that 15 to 20 meters is pretty good. Especially beneath that. The concern I have is he's not super accurate with long balls. The vision's there. He sees the runs just like Mari does. When players are moving across or Fortounis, he can see the switches. He can see the people running. He just doesn't seem to hit the mark very well, which for a center mid, you want to be a little bit better. But considering that was the first season he played as one, I think the execution can be worked on. I'm not super concerned about that. Defensively, just above average, closing players down. Now, in terms of metric of whether or not we rate him and how he works defensively, he's not as good as Madi. He's not as good as Bouchalakis, but he's a hell of a lot better than Thiago Silva. So at the very least, he's an upgrade on that in that respect.
Well, you're paying him much more than Thiago Silva.
You will be paying him
Hadis Bouloubasis is better than Thiago Silva.
Exactly. So just so people are aware, he's competent. He doesn't do anything too stupid, but he's not quite as good at it as Madi or Bouchalakis are. In the air, so. I wasn't super impressed with what I saw in the air, but again, we're not bringing him in to be a wizard or win us stuff in the box or off of corner kicks. He'll be more likely the guy taking it. Something that concerned me, similar to like what I saw with Rebchuk, the fouls I watched him committing in Turkey. Frequent, very frequent, some of them borderline unnecessary. Something that I was concerned with Rebchuk that unfortunately we've seen a little bit more of as well. So I don't know. I don't know how comfortable I am with that, but I think that's a discipline thing. And Rebchuk has improved with us in that respect, so I think he will improve as well. As far as fouls go, he also has more yellow cards on a per 90-minute basis than any of our center mids or defensive mids. But again, same thing. I think that can be worked on. Now, this is the most concerning part for me, this next part. And it was his body language. His body language is awful. The stuff that I saw was terrible. If I was a coach and I saw that on my field, that guy would be riding the bench. I don't care who he is. I did not like his attitude. I mean, in the beginning of the game, there's plays in like the first 5-6 minutes, a player maybe doesn't see him or the pass goes a little bit too far ahead. And I just see him making really gesticulating forever and like not stopping or going to the next play. That concerns me. I do not like that. That is an attitude issue, and I'm not a huge fan. So all in all, what I saw in terms of the production, the technical ability, he's there. The attitude problems, I'm concerned with. So the question that I always get is, yay or nay, Adi? Yay or nay? Do you want him or you don't? If the wage is agreeable, and by agreeable, I mean about half what he's getting paid, or half what he was getting paid at Galatasaray, which was $3.5 million a season, I'm considering it. Now, we also know that this guy wouldn't be on the radar if Martins wasn't interested. So I trust, if Martins thinks he can handle this head case, I trust him. So again, if he's not $2 million a season and Martins can handle him, I'm on board.
Well, we're gonna bring Theo back on, and Theo, we're gonna keep you on here. And now that we're getting into the nitty gritty Olympiakos stuff here, we want to know your opinions based on what you know and what you've just heard with Adi. Do you think this guy is worth a try?
Listen, guys, like Adi mentioned earlier, it comes down to wages. It comes down to Martins. And Martins, for me, won't let a guy dictate the pace in the sense of how he's going to act. He doesn't want any trouble. We spoke about this a couple of days ago. I don't think we've seen the Olympiakos locker room as united and as cohesive as it's been now. I was talking to my father, who was saying in the 70s, there were good players, good left backs, good goalkeepers that wanted to crack the team, but there was always cliques. The one thing with Martins, he's not going to allow that. So listen, if the wages make sense, he's a creative player, a player that can definitely contribute based on his skill. The rest remains to be seen. But for me, it's worth a try.
Well, yeah, and it's a really good point about Martins. Now, before we do move on to the post game from the Kipelo semifinal, we actually have a surprise appearance from one of our other contributors. This is Giannis Belisiotis. Yanni, thanks for stopping by, my friend. Yanni will be covering both the football team and the basketball team for us as a blogger.
Guys.
So, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for having me here. Sorry for my English. Have a lot of time to practice them. So if I'm talking bad, really sorry. I have a poster of Matt Derbyshire behind me. I have a poster of with the ears like this in Panathinaikos pit. You can see it. What's up?
Brilliant, man. Thank you so much, Yanni, for coming on. And your English is great. We've met,
you.
and your English is fine.
Thank you
There's
so
no
much.
problems. And we're just super excited to have you on, writing in English, writing in Greek, whatever you want. That's, again,
Thanks.
I hammered this on in the intro, Gate 7 International. People can write for whatever language they want who are going to be on our blog. We're really excited to get stuff out, get some basketball stuff. I know we've done one episode. Look out for that. There may be another basketball episode coming out soon, reviewing
There
the
will
season.
be. There will be another
I
basketball. There will be another basketball episode coming out. The regular season of the EuroLeague is ending next week. We're going to be having two guys, possibly two guys from the Red Point Guard team coming to join us in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that, basketball fans.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will
Well,
try in
Yanni-
English to. I will try in English to write because I want to make a career in Guardian or maybe.
Yeah.
I
No,
will try in English. I'm
we're
really
happy
proud.
to help. We're happy
I'm
to
really
help.
proud with the thing you're doing. It's really cool. It's really badass that your Olympiakos fans abroad. You cannot watch team. You watch the team not in regular hours, like you watch it in the midday, or it's. I'm really proud of you. It's really something really difficult to follow a Greek team when you're abroad. It's really badass. Good for you.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much, Yanni.
I appreciate that. I feel badass. Thank you.
Adi, you're still a nerd at heart. Come on, we all know this.
I am the biggest nerd. I trust me. I know that. That's why I call everybody nerds. I can
Yeah.
because I know I am one, so I could use it.
Well,
Who's the
Yanni,
most-
go ahead. Go ahead.
Who is the most hardcore from you? The most hardcore, like hardcore Olympiakos fan, like
I'm the oldest
It would
one.
probably be Costa, I think, because he's definitely been to more games, I would say, than anyone else, right?
okay.
If we're talking
Everyone-
about like most unreasonable, it'd probably be Lambro.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
There's different degrees of hardcore.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
fair.
like shouting in the television and say, "Oh come on, give the pass better
Of
pass."
course, to everyone.
Watching, I mean, yeah, I
Peter has seen me in front of a TV for Olympiakos game. You can describe Peter.
yeah, well, I mean, I think both of us get pretty animated these days. Of course, I'm just watching by myself usually, so I feel like I can just scream as loud as I can and no one will hear. Well, maybe the neighbors hear. But-
Pete is such an Olympiakos fan that even his hair turned red. I mean, that says everything.
That's good. That's really good. Okay, guys.
Thanks so much for stopping by, Yanni. We're really
Thank you.
excited to have your
Yeah.
content on the site, and we can't wait.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yanni.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, it's that time. We do have a little post game. We did, if you didn't catch it on our YouTube channel, we do have some player ratings courtesy of Lambro and Costa, where they gave their immediate takes right after the game. But now here comes Adi with his analytics and his Y Scout. He's going to lay down the law. And of course, we have Theo here as well, who's going to give his takes. But I mean, we're going to chat about the game, give out our awards as we always do. But, you know, I think the way these things usually start is just Adi, you know, start us off with some stats here and we'll get the discussion rolling.
Sure. Base level stats. We'll go with kind of XG, how we always start with it. Won't surprise anybody. I thought it was going to be closer to 3. It ended up being for Olympiakos, our XG was 2.11. And understandable, there were quite a few opportunities missed by our favorite best worst player ever, Hassan. Had multiple opportunities and scored probably the most difficult one. Ironic, but love it. Anyway, Giannina's XG ended up as 2.2, but the context there is that they had a PK. So if we remove the PK from their XG, it turned out to be about 1.44. They had some great opportunities. They got forward and they were dangerous, especially a couple times on the counter. Quick side note, the way Giannina played against Olympiakos is really how I thought and hoped the Ethniki could play against Spain, but we're not going to go beyond that. Just a little thing I wanted to throw out there. Now, in open play, Olympiakos had 52 attacks in open play. That's the most attacks in open play we've had all season. 7 shots resulting from that. Probably one of the worst efficiencies we've had in terms of converting our possessions into shots. Giannina had 17 attacks, resulting in 6 shots in open play. It was a dominant performance by Olympiakos. The opportunities were there. The problem was the end product. There were multiple opportunities, golden opportunities, missed by Hassan, with some really pathetic attempts by Bruma. I mean, Maya can kick a ball stronger than some of his shots were. So
Bruma, man, he's well, maybe we'll wait. But Bruma, my God, man, like you're not worth 6 million euros. You're not worth €6, my friend. Like I've seen it.
Yeah. So all in all, in terms of the metrics, I've seen stuff all over the place about how 3-4-3 wasn't the right formation. We didn't produce enough. That's false. We produced. The end product wasn't there. This was one of the games where we had some of the most activity in the final third and in the box. So the opportunities were there. We just couldn't capitalize on them. And credit to Giannina as well. Their shape defensively was very tight. They stayed very composed. And when I talked about with the Ethniki how we had no plan when we had the ball and we were moving forward, Giannina had a plan, a rehearsed plan when they won back possession and went forward. Did you guys notice how when they would win the ball back, play it to the one central midfielder, they had two players running laterally next to him, one stretching a little bit right, one staying a little bit next to him square, which is literally right next to him, creating an opportunity. The striker that was there, that was staying forward, either went left, depending on where the play was going, or right, to then either create an outlet or make a run. And how many times did that burn us? There were 2 times in the second half that burned us going down the right-hand side. So that is what a plan looks like when you win the ball and you're playing against a team that is better than you and dominating possession and making more opportunities. That is a plan. And I congratulate Giannina on that. I thought that they played very well, and I think that they played very well all season.
Theo, what did you think about the game?
Look, I think, guys, there was an expected, I don't want to say drop-off because it almost sounds bad after a big derby win. Personally, I love the 3-4-3. I feel defensively, we were a little bit loosey yesterday, but I felt we were good on Sunday. I felt we created chances yesterday as well. The only issue being the conversion, which was terrible. I mean, there were some awful finishes, and I know, Ali, you spoke about that with Hassan, of course, with Bruma. Fortounis, for me, wasn't fantastic yesterday, and I don't know how well he fits into the 3-4-3. That remains to be seen, but I think that 3-4-3 is Martin's way of really planning for next season, especially in those European games where we might see a lot more of that. But all in all, look, I think the 1-1 tie is it's against a good coach team. And I was reading some Costa Nikolakopoulos today, and I thought about it also. We played Giannina for 390 minutes this year. We were leading for a couple of minutes out of all those 270-plus minutes. They're a tough team to play against. And there's a reason why their coach, Giannikis, is wanted, even they're staying now by AEK or Panathinaikos potentially in the summer. They're a well-coached team and a good team. But I think we have it. We have them for sure at Karaiskaki, barring anything tragic. But all in all, a game that was almost expected to go the way it did, and we got a tie.
It does need to be said that if it weren't for Jose Sá, we would be 3-0 down after 65 minutes.
Agreed, yeah.
Yes.
Because of Bruma and Ba.
Yeah. Oh, don't you dare. He had his problems.
That needs to be said, and we talked about that yesterday when we did the player ratings with Lambros. He went through a dip of form since December. It's true. The criticism that he received, we've talked about that before. It crossed the line, like way over the line. Everything that happens, the messages to his wife and to his Instagram, intolerable. But yesterday, guys, we would be 3-0 down. There was a one-on-one he saved in the 55th minute. And then 10 minutes later, a cross came in from the right-hand side. It was a tap-in finish, and he instinctively saved it. We would be 3-0 down going into the second tie. Jose Sá, absolutely massive performance yesterday. Hands down, man of the match for me. We'll probably talk about this later as well, but he is one of the reasons why we are the championship contender, outright championship contender. The difference between us and the other teams, whether it's AEK, PAOK, Panathinaikos even, is a keeper like him, among other.
I wanted to quickly draw our attention back to a comment I just saw from Decimus. Is Giannikis a good coach for the Ethniki? Listen, what he's done with Giannina, what we've watched, and I've actually my in-laws or my mother-in-law's from Giannina, so that's part of my wife's heritage. So I watch Giannina now just because, and I gotta tell you guys, they impress me with what they have there, the project that they've built this season. I'm impressed. They've performed quite well, and Giannikis has done a great job. If JVS fails, if he struggles against Kosovo and gets the axe, which he probably would if that happens, I wouldn't mind seeing Giannikis there. The question would be, can he manage the egos? But I think that he would be a solid choice for the Ethniki if JVS were to be let go. Just a note, because I like that comment and like that question going forward.
I would say no, because he's like 36-year-old and his last job was in the German 4th division. Like, I know he's doing great things at Giannina. I would tell this guy, I would say, you built this Giannina project. It's time to go abroad. Do you really think you're going to go to AEK and Panathinaikos with Melisanidis, Alafouzos and turn that around? You guys tell me. Like, it seems like career suicide. The move has to be to go abroad for him. I guess he grew up in Germany. If I was him, I would look for Bundesliga 2 or low-end Bundesliga if I was him. I'm going to be honest. And I would stay the hell away from the Greek national team job if I was him. Just my opinion.
Lambro, would you say that he should, quote unquote, turn his back on the team?
I don't know about that. I got in hot water.
Just joking, mate.
But don't upset him. We don't have Greg here to hug him.
Let's move to this. There are a few players we need to just like talk about. Bruma, guys, like this. Have we seen enough? I know we've said it over and over again. He's every 4th game he comes and puts a performance on that's worth, scratching our head and rethinking, but like he just passes it to the goalkeeper, man. I can't sometimes you just want him to put some velocity on the shot, pick out the corners, like Adi was talking about earlier, even if it's not like a fast shot. But like what's the deal with him, guys? We've had the conversation before, but like for me yesterday was just like I went from potentially wanting him back on a reduced fee and now to like, I'm not sure if I want him in the team next year.
I've revised down my price for him. I know I said, maybe 2 million or something. Now it's like less than 1 million. I will say this though, even though I thought his end product, his shot was terrible, he had a couple of decent plays. He had one smart pass, one key pass. So he had a couple of opportunities and he was 3 for 4 on the dribble. So he had a couple of one-on-one attempts where he did get by the defenders. It's just some of the pass play. And it's not like he misplaces passes all the time. He was 21 for 26, 80% pass completions, solid. It's not, we'd like to see higher sometimes, but for a winger, that's okay. We'll let that go. I just don't see enough of some of the other things. Like we like to see, even in a 3-4-3, we like to see the 2 outside forwards, we'll call them. We let them float around and play inside. I do like to see them kind of going wide and contributing with crosses. And Bruma is like a fat 0. That's 2 games in a row now. We haven't seen a single cross from Bruma. And that has to be part of your portfolio. You have to do that because that's part of how Hassan gets the opportunities and does what he does. You have to have that service. And if you're not doing that, you're just trying to dribble inside constantly, or you're trying to play like Costa, but you don't have the skill of Costa. It doesn't really work out too much. So I'm not going to be bothered if we don't retain him personally.
No, I agree. I mean, listen, he's not the winger that's going to make the difference. And in this formation also, I feel even his decision making, guys, is poor. Even I think back at that PSV game at a point, just gives the ball to the left, doesn't look. He's a guy who's repetitive, and he does have the odd good game, but it's the odd good game, which is the problem. There's a lack of consistency there, and I can't see them keeping him, especially at that price tag.
Yeah, guys. The only thing I would add is I was surprised not to see Mario Vrusai in the squad list yesterday. I mean, if it's a choice between Mario Vrusai and Bruma, I pick Mario Vrusai every time. He's, I mean, not to mention he's an academy product, but we know that Vrusai is a player that is direct. He likes to run at people. He can place the ball when he's inside the box into the corners. He can hit it with power from outside. He can pass a ball 5, 10 yards, 15 yards. He can do the basics well. He's fast. He's not as fast as Bruma. The only thing that Bruma has that's better than Vrusai is pace and acceleration in the open field. But when he's defended closely, I think Vrusai is better in terms of his touch, his control, and his dribbling ability when he's in a closed space. So I would much rather see Mario Vrusai get more chances next year. I've said it before, I think 6 million minimum fee release clause for Bruma is absolutely ridiculous. Even 3 is pushing it. We don't know what kind of money we're going to have available this summer. We don't know if we're going to be out of COVID. We don't know what our financial situation is going to be. Are we going to have season tickets? Are the stadiums going to be allowing fans in? That's going to have an impact on our transfer budget. And we rarely spend more than 3 to 4 million anyway when it comes to a transfer, even the ones we consider big. So please save the money for somebody that's going to make a difference. That's why we bought Bruma in. He hasn't made a difference. So, sorry, but no.
If I may jump in as well, I've done it again. I can't believe I've done it again. Is he the 2.0 of Hernani? Hernani was the same thing, right? He came on loan, and it wasn't. He had the buyout option. Everyone was debating every week: do we buy Hernani? Do we not buy Hernani? Hernani's shit. Oh no, Hernani's really good. Hernani sucked, and we didn't buy him. So. I don't know. I did it again. I put historical reference out. I had to do it. It just came to my mind. But no, I would never buy Bruma. They would have to pay me to buy Bruno. I don't know. Bruma. I'm just
Lambros having a howler over here, folks. Let's move on to another player.
I'm done with him. Yeah.
First, let's move on to Fetanos. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think Y-Scout gets any data on Finland, 4th division, unfortunately. But keep working your way up there, my friend. We'll always be supporting you. Let's talk about Fortounis, guys. Adi, I know he's been a player of big controversy. Personally, I think it's just because of the incredibly high expectations that people have for him. And also the fact that he is, to a degree, playing out of position. But Adi, I mean, what do the numbers tell us? And, we'll just take it from there.
The numbers tell us that Lambro is wrong. That's what they tell us, that Lambro is wrong. Here's why Lambro is upset. Fortuny was 2 for 7 on the dribble. Lambro wants to see him cutting in and out. He wants to see him beating everybody by himself. And that's not happening anymore. Those inside cuts, the step overs. When you have a nasty knee injury like he had, it's more difficult to do. A lot of it's mental, but he has such great control. He does so much without having to do that. And we've seen him suffer. He was, in terms of his dribble success, if we look in his career-wise, he's always been close to 60% in terms of how often he succeeds on the dribble. And he averages constantly like 6 or 7 one-on-one attempts a game. Career. Now, if we isolate this season, it's less. We're in the 40s. There has been a regression in terms of his one-on-one dribble success, but not in terms of a lot of the other product. So let's go over what Costa did. Okay, we didn't see him, a couple of those times where he dribbled through like 3 people and he lost it at the end. Oh no, yeah, he didn't do it. He might have been able to do it like 3 years ago. But what did he do? 1 assist. He had 4 total shot assists. Sorry, besides the 1 assist, he had 4 shot assists after that. 2 key passes in open play. 2 were from his corner kicks. 8 crosses. 8 crosses. Fortuny led our team in crosses. in terms of that production, something that we really, really, really like to see. He also came back. He dropped back to win the ball back as well defensively. Even when Fortounis was at his best before offensively, we never saw that type of activity from him. So now he also had that shot, that off-target shot. Whatever, I'm not going to even include that. And I see a lot of people getting upset saying, Fortuny, he doesn't take the team on his shoulders and win games. When the guy is creating all of these opportunities and his expected assist is over 1, I don't understand what else do you want him to do? When Hassan's missing sitters, he's creating. Bruma, interplay with them. When he's been the offense for us, I don't know what else you want from him. So, I mean, now I will say this. Yes, he's maybe not as sharp on some things as other things. But this Fortounis is an offensive leader in the Greek Super League. And remember, he hasn't played the minutes that everybody else has. So in this game in particular, this guy had over 100 actions, like everything, passes, defensive actions, running, 100 actions, more than anybody else on the field. He was involved in everything, both defensively and offensively. I don't get how you can be super upset with Fortounis' performance. It's not on him to finish the opportunities he's making. All you can ask is that he makes good ones, and he did. Now, that being said, it's not like I'm going to give him a 9 or a 10 here. I'm a firm believer that he's deserving, even in a draw, of a 7.5. My man of the match would still be Jose Sa, but I think Fortuny deserves a 7.5, and the data supports that.
Lambro, what's your
Is this my call to action?
We embrace debate on the Gate 7 International podcast. So, Lambro, we want to hear your side.
Peter, tell me how much love I have for Fortounis. Tell the people how many jerseys I like imported. A whole goddamn lot. I used to wear Fortounis jerseys to freaking parties at college.
Things change. Things clearly change.
I love him. I love him so much. Like my picture with Fortounis, he was like my love. I loved him. He was like I wouldn't say my first love, but like I loved Fortounis. But I've gone cold, and do you know why I've gone cold? Because I've been rewatching old clips. I sent you guys this Burnley behind the stage things, and I've been watching. Olympiakos does these things like they used to, at least before coronavirus, like behind the scenes, and they would show you like on the pitch how the players are playing and the fans and blah blah blah. But you watch Fortounis run and pass and cut, even like jump. He jumps up in celebration. Like I don't even think he can jump like an inch off the ground anymore. He is so physically not there. Like he just, his movement, he's slow, and his technique is fantastic, and that gets him by most defenders. But I guess the player who I'm loved into, who I fell in love with, is just not ever coming back. Does that make sense? Maybe that's why I'm so upset. I don't know.
Why are you still like in love with Mitroglou though?
Shut up, Peter. Shut up. Just
anyway, I think Costa wants to say something.
I think you're getting too emotional, man. It's like, look, do you remember in that horrible 2017 season? I think it was 2017 when Hassi was the coach, and it was, that awful season. We lost 2-1 at home against AEK. I remember I was at that game where we lost 2-1. There was a moment in that game where we were transitioning into attack, and he was alone, kind of running towards the goal. And I remember him falling over because he didn't have the legs, didn't have the energy. That was Fortounis 3-4 seasons ago. And remember at the end of that season, he brought in that German coach to work with him in preseason. And he brought that coach with him every year since then. And that's when we started to see the Fortounis at Burnley, the Fortounis in the Milan game, the Fortounis that was bossing everything in Martins' first season. Fortounis was never as fit as he was before the injury. Yes, he had a serious injury. Last season, Martins built the team without him. So the team's learned to play without Costa. We don't play a 4-2-3-1 anymore. He likes the 4-3-3. And now Costa has to try and fit in on the wing. So Costa has to adapt to a new system. He hasn't had a preseason. He's not fit. He hasn't worked with a coach. And you're saying he's not fit. He's not strong. He's not as fast as he was. Of course he's not as fast as he was. Of course he's not as strong as he was. When did he have the time to do that? He hasn't had regular games. He's not match fit. He's in and out of the team. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm a big Costa fan too as well. I'm as sad as you when I see him play, because I have the memory of how good he was before he got injured, the memory of him dancing around 7 Armenia players like Messi and tapping the ball in, going past the keeper. I hope it will come back. We all do. We don't know what's going to happen in the summer, but I give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's have some faith.
Yes.
Do Fortounis and Belhanda work together in a team? Adi, I know you maybe addressed this a little bit, but what do people think?
I think for what we're looking at with Belhanda, if he's going to play deeper, I think so. Yeah, I think they could work. Now, if Belhanda all of a sudden starts creeping into that, in the 3-4-3, he's playing on the left or right in that elevated forward role or inside winger role, then that's when it becomes a problem.
Fair enough. Is it time to have the big argument that?
Can I respond real quick?
Lambro wants
can
to.
I feel like people are like going at me for saying this like stuff, but like I'm saying this because I love Fortounis so much, and like I said in the chat too, because we were getting into it. Like I remember when he tore that ACL. I cried. I swear to God, I cried. I loved him so much because I knew like that could be it for him, Footballers don't come back like in other sports with the ACL, and like this is true. He's doing so well this season, goal scoring and assist wise. But I don't know. I wanted to see him with a preseason. I think Costa hit the nail on the head with that. I just want to see him. I just want to see the old Fortuny back. I miss him so much, and I just don't know if it's ever going to be there again. And he still performs magically some nights. I don't know. It's tough.
Well, Lambro, I think
sorry. Fetano just put that the stat up. He was 7 goals, 11 assists this season. In the Greek Super League, it's actually 8 goals, 10 assists, just in the Super League. So if we combine, right, if we do it like hockey style, and we assign a point per goal, a point per assist to see who has the most volume in terms of end product, number 1 is obviously, most of you would probably guess it, El Arabi. He's got 20 goals on the season, 2 assists. Fortuny is second with 18. 8 goals, 10 assists. He has a higher end product and more assists now than Madalos, who statistically is the best creator in the Super League. And yet Costa is doing better than him. Not just in terms of the end product that he has, but in the expected end product, expected goals, expected assists. He's not just making things happen, but he's making great opportunities where they should be executed on. So you know what? Okay, maybe he can't do the one-on-one dribbles anymore, but he has elevated in terms of his vision and the things that he can do without having to do that. And I will take that, because to me, that is a better player than a player that can just do one-on-one dribbles against things. It might not be the magic that makes highlight reels, but it's the magic that wins you games.
Well, I think we've talked about one of Lambro's favorite players. Lambro, by the way, I'm sorry, I don't want to make it feel like we're ganging up on you here, but it's just the way that things have been.
But it's funny because like it's because like I'm the minority here, but I think like I am doing this very timidly compared to other fans on social media. Can we say that? Like from the Greek speaking community, from the English speaking community, I think a lot of people are kind of like, I think I can say that, right? Like I'm doing this very lightly and politely because I love the guy so much, but like there are people doing this very not politely, if we can say that.
I think just to add on that and to answer a question that was asked earlier, can Belhanda, if he arrives, and Fortounis playing the same team, there's been a lot of chatter that Belhanda's coming because Fortounis isn't going to be there next season, potentially. So it's going to be a long summer, guys. Without opening a big discussion now about transfers in and out, who's staying, who's going, But could be an interesting one for Fortounis as well.
All right, Lambro, let's talk about Ba.
Let's go.
Lambro, I'll let you go first, Lambro, this time.
No, I don't have the data here, right? No, but let me just say something about Ba. So I hit this on the player ratings with Costa, and he's just reckless. Like I misdescribed it when I was upset with him the other time, and I was blaming technique. It's not technique. It's just recklessness. Hands flying, feet flying, just diving into tackles, misplaced passes everywhere. He could have given up 2 penalties. The first penalty we can talk about wasn't a penalty, we know, but the hands were up. What is he doing with the hand up like this? I don't know. And then the second one, he stuck a foot in. I have to rewatch it, but I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, we're lucky that wasn't a penalty. And then he has the one where he plays the guy. He tries to play the offside trap, and the guy's in front of him. So the guy's cutting the ball back. It's never going to be offside. It was just like, do we not have a brain here? Do you know what I mean? Like, do we not think? It's just infuriating with the guy sometimes, and his freaking attitude is disgusting. The thing about pushing the ref, putting the hands on the ref, hitting the ball all the time is such bullshit. Like, it needs to stop. I gave him the Arsenal game, and I thought he would get the attitude right, but he's not. And it's getting old, man. It's an old act, and he needs to clean it up. I don't know if the ego's gotten so big now that he's in his national team, and the big clubs are knocking. I don't know what the deal is, but there's some bullshit going on with him, and I would hit him on the bench. That's just me.
So my take, as someone who is like generally a fan of Ba, the attitude is an issue. I don't disagree with you on that. However, I should say, like, he's just a young player who cares a lot, and like really, he just like is very passionate about the, like, it could be a lot worse. He could be like Ruben Vinagre, who doesn't care. And I understand the concern because he did this against Arsenal. We saw him crying on camera and feeling very remorseful, and he goes out and does it again. Obviously, it's like in the moment, even like someone is like me who's played like high school level sports, like you get pissed off and like throw something or yell something, and it's like you didn't want to do that, but you do it in the moment, whatever. This is, I mean, and the bench may be a solution for a little bit, because this is something that for me is Pedro Martin's responsibility first and foremost, to see this in the player and be like, look, you can't do this, because it's hard for Ba himself to adjust in the moment like that. It can be very difficult, especially when you're like a young player and you do have like maybe a bit of an angry streak, which, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's certainly not a good thing. But also I will say, can we like not act like Ruben Semedo doesn't make a big mistake like all the time? Like Cisse, big mistake all the time. Like, guys, Ba, like if you, yes. And it's like, this is what Adi has called halo effect. Like, yes, Ba had like that big moment. I think like the last moment you described, Lambro, when he like sort of tried to play the offside trap, like that is a mistake. And you remember that more strongly than like everything else that he does well over the course of the game. And if we look at the analytics and just say like, okay, let's like analyze every time Ba gets into a situation where he's being challenged, this man is immaculate. Like, it has to be said, against European teams, against Greek teams, like, yes, he has a few shockers, but he's immaculate. And when he has a shocker, like, you have to remember that Semedo has shockers all the time. Like, Cisse has difficulties. So Krati, I mean, he's another, he's a very experienced player, and we haven't necessarily seen any big blunders from him since he's joined the club. But these things happen. I'm not going to disagree with you that, yesterday wasn't his best game. I'm not going to disagree with you that the attitude is an issue and it needs to be dealt with. And it's a test of Martins as a manager to deal with that. And I'm interested to see if he can sort of improve that, especially with this guy, Belhanda, who we know has attitude issues on the way in, potentially. Obviously, it's, just words at this point. But anyway, I'm going to let Adi say the stats. We've talked in private about the stats. They're quite good, but I'm going to let him get specific.
Costa, go ahead. I saw you had something before that.
No, I was just crossing my fingers when Peter was talking about Socrates not showing any blunders so far. So no, go ahead.
Guys, knock on wood.
Yeah.
You hear that? We're all set.
I'm just
Peter brought up
the
some
table here.
Yeah, Peter brought up some great points, especially about Semedo. Semedo had some howlers, and I didn't see half the outcry. Semedo was, now I know the pitch was bad. Like the pitch was kind of slippy. We saw that. But Semedo was all over the place on that left side in the second half. How many times did he go out and slide or go to ground just to get completely burned? And we had an opportunity against us 3 times. Exactly. And you're going to complain about 3 mistakes that Ba made. I have something for you here. Ba had 102 total actions in the game yesterday. 102 passes, what have you, everything. What do you think his success rate for total action was? Everything he did, anything he did, could have been a cross, could have been a header. What do you think his total success was without context? You want to take a guess, Lambro?
I would say 95%, but it's the 5% you fuck up. You mess up.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, and we're gonna get into that. So I want to get into some of the specifics, right? So let's go into how he closed people down. Okay, so this data: 4 for 6 defensive duels. Now the 2 that he lost, one he closed the guy down, and the guy hit it off of him for throw-in. And then the second time was when he was at the top of the 18. The guy was dribbling on him, and he sort of forced him out to the left a little bit, and the guy took a shot that went like nowhere. So that shows as unsuccessful because the shot got off, but it wasn't threatening. For me, effectively, that's 6 out of 6 defensive duels. In the air, he won everything in our side of the field. The only aerial duel that he lost, there were 2 aerial duels that he lost. One was in the offensive zone off of a Fortounis free kick, and the second one, he lost the aerial duel in the midfield, but guess what? The guy won the ball in the air. Then he crowded him out and took the ball back. Loose balls. He won all but one loose ball, which was that led to that second opportunity where the penalty, that could have been like a second penalty. So we had the first one and then that one, which was kind of rough. 6 interceptions, 18 recoveries, led the team in recoveries, getting the ball back, scooping it up, and getting us into another possession. In terms of how he played on the ball, I know we don't sing his praises in possession because, let's just be honest, guys, we know that Ruben Semedo is better on the ball. But in terms of possession, when Ba had the ball at his feet, the guy had a 90% pass accuracy. So he had that one time when he had the ball, and he tried to like chip the guy when he had the ball in the defense. He tried to like chip the Giannina player, but it went like right to him and it went out. He closed them down after that anyway. But the attitude thing, I agree with 100%. But I can't see that he had a howler of a game when he made 2 mistakes, 3 tops in 102 actions.
Adi, because I feel bad for Lambro, and I'm gonna side with him because he's in
no.
a tough
But
spot
can I
today.
say, Peter?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Can I say real quick, and then you can say your piece? Like, it is so cool when you do 95% of the things right. You know who else does like 95% of the things right? Like Shopdan, however the hell you say his name, Mustafi for Arsenal. Like, the problem with this
That's false. He does not do 90%.
Anyway, it was a bad example.
But terrible.
But like Yassine Meria does 95% of the things right, but then he has bullshit blunders like where he should have gave up 2 penalties and should have let in a goal if Jose Sa is not the best keeper we've seen ever.
Is. Adi, what I want to say, like Lambro, I'm gonna try to be on your side here. The 3 mistakes that Lambro talked about, like the first one, like we can say the hands maybe were in a suspect place. The second one, we can say maybe he was too physical. The third one was a mental mistake and he should have been positioned better. To be fair, those things don't show up as actions, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, so in those opportunities, right? So the offsides is the only one that won't show up because technically, but it shows up as because he did allow a pass, it shows as a progressive pass allowed. So it shows up still negative toward him in a different statistic. You just have to look for it. But the other 2 showed up against him. They do show up against him as negatives in terms of total actions. And here's the other thing. The stuff about Meria was 100% wrong. He was terrible at everything. The only thing he was really good at was being on the ball, but he was bad at everything else. Great with the ball at his feet, but a terrible defender. Terrible. And Ba is still, if we look at the defensive metrics, he's the best on the team. The best across everything. Pick something, anything you want, and he's probably better at it.
I want to get Theo
another
involved.
player.
I want to get Theo involved. Theo, what's your take on this whole situation? Like either just considering his game yesterday or broadly?
Look, I think any way you slice it, even if you look at the numbers, Nadi, I don't want to disagree with you, but yesterday there was a times where he looked like he was either his head wasn't into it or whatever it was. Again, the pitch was awful, so that doesn't help. A couple of passes that were bad passes. Overall, I think Ba has been definitely a positive for us, and I think we could all agree on that. But look, attitude-wise, there's a problem. It happened in Peristeri. It happened with Arsenal. It's happening now where it's becoming an issue because it's happening as often as it is. So, look, I don't know what's going to happen with Bayern in the summer. And again, I know Costa mentioned about transfers, and that's going to be a topic for another day. Who knows? But again, the one thing that I'm confident with is Martins and the fact that he's there and he's always going to be somebody to put guys back in their place.
I also want to bring up two other things because, obviously, because Ba had the penalty, everyone was focused on him. But I want to recall a couple of plays that we so easily could have eaten it. Everybody remembers those two counters, right, that Jan and I had in the beginning of the second half where we almost bit it, if not for Jose Sa. Okay, so who got beat the first time that allowed him to go through and get the shot on goal? Who got beat?
Semedo.
It was Ruben, wasn't it?
Ruben was one, but who was the other one right next to him that just watched it happen? Marking nobody.
Was it Holebas?
Yes, it was. The man we sung his praises. Number two, the second one. Does everyone remember the through ball that Holebas allowed because he weirdly contorted himself? He was went around left and then turned around, and by the time he contorted himself back to his natural position, the player on the right, was it Pamlidis? I think it might have been Pamlidis, was already on the ball and going towards goal. Let's also not forget, how about on the first half?
Ruben Semedo could have been sent off yesterday too. Can we say that?
Ruben Semedo. And then how about all those times that I brought up where he was on the ground? Adrutsos did it once or twice too when he came on. And the Giannina winger is just okay, here, I'm going to go around you. I know it's a wet pitch, so it's difficult for me, but all of these opportunities, had one of those resulted in a goal, we would be lambasting these guys. In terms of a volume of what types of opportunities Ba left or allowed, there were three bad ones where I can find Holebas and Semedo each had a little bit more than that and each have their fair share of the blame. So I think that because Ba was called for that penalty, I honestly believe that everyone's giving him way more shtick than he deserves because that happened. Now, again, I'm not, in terms of the player ratings you guys gave them, I know that I get a little bit adamant about certain things, but I'm not going to give him a 7. I'm not going to give him probably even a 6.5. I just think that those things have to be considered, and maybe he deserved a slight bump because of it. So that's all I'm saying, that we gave too much blame to Ba and we didn't focus enough on the others. That's really kind of what I was getting at here. That's all.
Well, I think that's about all we have for this game. We do still want to chat about the website a little more. So, for people sticking around, we're going to chat about that more. But one last thing, man of the match and coach's grade, as we always do. Now, we spoiled man of the match a little bit, but I figure we'll still go around man of the match and coach's grade. So I'll get started. Jose Sa is my man of the match, people. We talked about it already. Although I'd like to give a shout out to Andrutsos, who I thought played well when he was on. This formation really suits him and has to be said. I want to see more of Lala. I don't, right now, if it's a game we need to win, I'm picking Andrutsos over Lala, but I've not given up on Kenny yet. Just a side note. Coach's grade, what are we going to say here? So the 3-4-3, I like that we've continued to use it. Taking Socrati off, I don't know if that's a fitness issue or a tactical issue. To be fair to Martins, Holebas played well in the last couple games, and Socrati could always use 45 minutes of rest in the cup. So I'm not going to ding him too much for that. Bruma and Hassan missing every chance that they get, except for Hassan scoring the one goal, really isn't in the coach's control too much, except for the fact that he played them. But I'm not going to give him a hard time for resting El Arabi for one game and playing Bruma over Masouras and Lazar. I guess Vrusai maybe would have been the one change that I would make. So I guess I'll say B+. Maybe that's a bit nicer given that we draw against Giannina. Maybe I'll say B just because of the result. I think maybe I'll be a bit higher than everyone else, but that's what I say. Costa?
No, I think we did the player ratings yesterday. For me, man of the match, clear, Jose Sa, as I said before. Coach's grade probably gets a B. I don't think we need to play 3-4-3 against Giannina, with all due respect. I know he's testing it out for next season. I understand that's what he's doing. But yeah, I was a bit miffed not to see Mario Vrusai in the squad yesterday. So for me, it's coach gets a B.
I guess I'll go then.
Okay.
I said Jose Sa man of the match last time in the player ratings, of course. And for Coach Martins, I would go with a B-. I would guess. Didn't really love Jose Holebas coming on, to be honest. Like, if Socrates was going to come on, I would have enjoyed going to 4-2-3-1 or something simple like that. I also just Hassan doesn't do it for me. I would have loved to see Hugo Kuipers. I'll just leave it at that. But if he wins the league on Sunday night, who really cares? And we go and win in Karaiskaki. That's it. So yeah, but C+. I didn't love it.
Man of the match has to be Jose Sa. Saved some really dangerous stuff. Great performance from him, all the way, Jose Sa. In terms of my coach's grade for Martins, there were a couple things I didn't like. Obviously, Hassan starting, I get why he did it. The adjustment, giving somebody else a run, first leg of the Kipelo. For, I guess, create a lot of opportunities. The adjustments created more opportunities as well. We just didn't have the end product. I'll give him a B+. He did more positive than negative. He can't play. He can't be on the field playing with the guys. And we saw 52 attacks in open play. Okay, maybe the conversion was off, but the overall game strategy saw us dominant. Some terrible player errors where resulted in us copying a couple things and a penalty that was questionable. I can't put that on him. So game plan was good, B+.
Well, look, I think for Jose Sa, we're all going to be in accordance that he was the man of the match yesterday. Martins, again, we're working on that 3-4-3. I wouldn't put too much stock into anything after a first leg, but for me, it's a B. And, we got the draw and we scored away. We'll take that any day and come back to Karaiskaki for the second leg.
All right, well.
Also, Peter, we're not getting so many comments on YouTube, but we are getting comments, but we're not seeing them. And a guy made a great point, and he said, can we talk about Oleg Rayabchuk real quick, guys? He is long enough in the team to talk about him as a player. What do you think about him? Some fans are going sour on him. I added that on to the point. What do you guys think about that? What are we looking at? Oleg was subbed off, I think, right? He was subbed off at halftime, was it?
Yeah, it was after halftime.
Yeah. Are we worried?
Finished formation.
Are we worried? I know some fans are worried. Are we worried? I'm not, but
I don't think so. I think we kind of knew, the first couple games, it was exciting to see a new player in the team and him doing the things that he did do. But there were flaws there. And I think now that he's sort of an accepted player in the team and he's got higher expectations of him, people are seeing those flaws. Just the normal things that come with a young, inexperienced player, to be fair, a lot of them. I think he's still a player that we wanna keep, looking at. And I mean, worst case, I've been told, and we can read more about this in Martial's piece that's up on our website. Leo Kouris is still alive, and he's getting a little bit more of a consistent run in the team, from what I can tell. So maybe he's someone that'll give Oleg some competition in the future. But no, I'm not super worried, to be honest with you. I think things should be okay.
I'm not worried.
No worries. He's
Yeah.
a hardworking kid. He's not a kid that's gonna. He runs hard. Sometimes he runs needlessly, but I mean, he's not a guy who's gonna be flashy in any way, shape, or form. At least in my opinion. But I'm not worried.
Tsimikas did that when he was starting out as well. He was running up and down the pitch like a madman, and he was wasting energy. And when we started seeing him come good before he transferred, it's when he knew when to go forward and he knew when to stay back. I think I see a lot of that in Rebchuk as well. I'm not worried about him. He's going to have competition as well next year. I think we're going to be bringing in a left back. Koutris is still away on another year for another year. Fonde Camara, who's away at Chania, is coming back, but I've never seen him play. But I think we're going to be bringing in a reinforcement at left back as well for some competition. But all in all, I'm not worried.
Yeah. I mean, okay, maybe the production in terms of the crosses, the service into the box isn't quite what we expected it would be. And the thing that's good for me is in terms of his link up, it's pretty good. His pass percentage is high. The thing for me is, okay, the fouls are down. I was worried that he was fouling too much unnecessarily and that would come here. He's really worked on that. The thing that's hurting his game is that he overvalues his speed. And you see that. He's very comfortable getting forward because he knows that he's fast and he's used to the competitions he used to play in where he didn't care and he could get back to defend. Well, guess what, buddy? You got to be careful. You're in better competitions now and you're going to have to be a little bit more careful. So I think he'll learn his lesson. He really reminds me of Tsimikas, Costa. I mean, just kind of like what you said before. I feel he's so similar, but he's got more speed. And I think in the end, he's going to be better offensively. Not worried at all.
Well, guys, if that's about it, before we do wrap up, we want to have another bit of a brief discussion with Theo about the website. We want to hear a little bit more, Theo, from you about, why you've decided to do this, of course, besides the fact that we asked you. And additionally, just like, what you hope to accomplish and what you see as a vision for the blog, like a little bit more than what we said at the beginning.
Look, I know you guys touched base a little bit on this. Agona Sport was one of my favorite sites as well. So I began writing there in 2018 during that disastrous 2017-2018 season that Costa was referring to earlier. So it wasn't always the easiest and funnest stuff to write about then. But I always felt a connection with people, and a lot of times, we would link up online. So really, what we're trying to do here, and that's really your vision, guys. But us on the blogging side, we want to have different points of view, pretty much from everywhere in the world. So there's guys like you said, already from Greece, from France, from North America here, and we want to be able to have a voice and to have a content for Olympiakos fans everywhere. So different languages. There's going to be some of you might have to use the Google Translate a bit more, but it's going to be fun. And overall, I think it's something that we want to reach out to people and to have that platform. And we're always looking for people. If ever there's somebody, not everyone's a professional writer, guys. So you're going to see stuff written differently by everybody. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun and ultimately a good thing for Olympiakos fans everywhere and fans of the Ethniki that we will touch base on as well.
And I just want to say one thing. Theo did mention it, and we mentioned it at the beginning. We are going to be pushing out content in English, Greek, and also French, courtesy of Martial. For people who don't speak those languages, don't worry. Like, the reason we're doing this in blog form is because it's much easier to translate things. Of course, you get the little Google Translate attachment for your phone or your browser, and you can just translate the entire article. For podcasts, we'll do an interview in Greek if it's the only way, and we can throw subtitles on, but it is a little bit more difficult. We acknowledge that. But with this blog, hopefully this will draw in more fans of Olympiakos from across the world and, make us really international. And we hope to sort of bring in more people with this multilingual approach.
And one other thing, we didn't mention it in the beginning, but you guys will notice on the website there's a merch page. There's no merch yet. There's still some things that we're working out. We have most of the details around the merch itself. It's just some issues that we're trying to square away to anticipate the things going all over the globe. those kind of things. We're working those things out, trying to get all of that information. We've heard some of the, I should say, requests, and I promise you guys the first piece of merch will be Bruma's coming too. It's happening. That will be the first one. We promise. So as soon as merch goes live, Bruma's coming too. That will be the first piece of merch.
Bruno's coming too. Bruma's coming too.
I
I mean, that's right. So I did it too.
Bruno's coming too.
Bruno's coming too. Okay, well, we could do Bruma's.
Not Bruma. No, God, no, not
Bruno's
Bruma.
coming too. First piece of merch. It's happening. Like I said, most of the details have been worked out with respect to the merch itself. It's just other things that we want to be prepared for so that people everywhere that are getting it, don't feel stranded and we don't have too many issues at launch.
And guys, as well, one thing about the website, like if you're a fan of Olympiakos and you're incredibly passionate about the team, you will notice somewhere on the site, there is like a contact us button. If you would like to write with us, there is the opportunity for people to do that. Of course, you'll have to, pass the good old rite of passage and send us a writing sample, but we're always looking for enthusiastic fans who can diversify our approach and contribute to the blog, because I mean, with this type of stuff, we just want to get out as much content as possible, at least one article per day. So, if you might find that interesting as well, we can do that. But I mean, more importantly, we just hope you enjoy the website. And we're so excited to continue to bring content to you in all sorts of different avenues. But yeah, I mean, I think that's basically all we have, folks. This has been a really long episode. So if you're watching live, we really appreciate you for sticking around. If you're watching delayed on YouTube or listening on one of the podcast platforms, we want to thank you as well for making it this far. And I think that's about all we have. Theo, as we've said already, we are so happy to welcome you to the Gate 7 International family. This is a really big step, and we're so lucky and excited to have you along for it and help us out. Any final words before we close up?
Happy to be on board, guys, and I hope this thing really explodes. And I mean, we're all looking forward to it, and it's going to be a real fun project.
For sure, man. Well, with that, thank you again for listening, everybody. Feel free to chat to us on social media at Gate7INTL. Visit the website, gate7intl.com. It's all the same. It's all the same for people to remember easily. So hopefully you enjoy. Let us know if you have any feedback on the site, and we'll be pushing out all sorts of blogs. We've already got a couple up. By the time you're listening to this, there might even be a few more, and we're just going to keep it rolling. So whether there's games, whether it's the summertime, we want to keep informing all of you about our favorite club. So thank you very much for listening. Have a good weekend, and we will